Hey, everybody, welcome to SexyNerdScience Season 5, Episode 23.
And me.
I'm Drew with Josh and
And
Dale.
me.
And Dale. Drew was here with Dale and me.
Mimi.
Me and me. It's a Mimi. We don't have a show for you guys today.
It's just a me.
We don't have a show. It's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be.
We're going to sit here for 40 minutes changing our background, and that's it.
We're gonna change the background. All visual cues, so you can't. All the funny jokes will be something you won't be able to hear. So look at this.
So funny.
That's hilarious. I can't believe you did that. That's just so unlike you guys.
So yeah, we're gonna do the show. Josh and I have been doing something recently in Sexy News. Josh and I have been doing something.
Yeah.
That was a sex joke.
Got it.
Get it?
We're harvesting some stuff. We're juicing and harvesting and servicing each other's
No,
thing.
how does harvesting have anything to do with like sex stuff?
You obviously aren't doing it right, Dale.
Harvesting seed.
Yeah, I'm doing something wrong then.
No, we've been that's not so this is not the link for Lime Scooters.
That's your fault.
That's Dale who went through and edited it and didn't realize that was a standalone topic.
It was under the same Lime Scooters heading with no text about it.
Because I said I wasn't putting titles in here.
It doesn't matter.
But let's keep going. So Lime Scooters. I recently signed. Well, I didn't recently. A couple months ago, I signed up to be a Lime Juicer, which is a charger for the Lime Scooters in Omaha. They got back to me last week and said I've been approved and I can start juicing, and then I'd be able to make some money doing that. So I bought 4 chargers.
I was just juiced in my pants.
Spent like $30 on 4 chargers, and then started just going out there and charging scooters. It was a pretty cool thing. First day I realized, I really kind of got the hang of it. 4 scooters got me $16, and I was like, yeah, $16 for a half hour's worth of work. That was easy. And then the next night I went out and got 4 scooters and then 3 service scooters and drove those to the service center. And then the third night I went out, Drew and I got 6 scooters to charge. Plus I think we had one service one, or I don't know if we went to the service thing. No, we didn't go to service that day. You're right. We just had 6 scooters. And then I was like, I'm going to do 8 scooters. And then chaos happened. I got to 8 scooters, and then my charger started breaking. After 4 days of usage, they started breaking. And like the heads were just popping off in the scooters. And
were you able to get the one out, or did you have to take that?
One of them is still stuck in the scooter.
So that's that's just gonna have to be a service one.
Yeah, well, I took it right. So both the ones that broke my charging heads, I marked as broken, and then after I dropped them off, I actually got paid again to take them to the service center.
That's funny.
So that was, it worked. But they were breaking left and right, and I informed the service people about it and sent a bunch of really upset emails, because my idea was, before when me and Drew were out there, when we were doing the 6 scooters,
our idea was,
yes, we're like, hey, we need to buy more chargers, get more scooters, and start doing this a little better, because it's a nice gig. It's really easy work, and it pays like $10 an hour. And it's instant pay, which is kind of nice. You get paid the next day. So I was like, I want this. I want to do this all the time. It's super easy. And then we started having charger issues. So once I get my chargers fixed, and then Dale brings some chargers, because Dale also did this and stopped doing it. Yeah, and I think I'm going to be juicing some scooters and making some extra money on the side. It's a pretty fun gig. And if anyone ever wants to help me, you get to ride scooters around Omaha for free.
That's just me. That's me.
We can... piggyback. I literally had.
We're not subletting
for funsies, guys. I had 8 scooters I had to drop off today, and I was already just like done. And the scooter spot was pretty far away from where I could park my car. And there happened to be 4 young kids with me that were like, "Oh, can we ride those scooters? What are they there for?" I was like, "Yes, ride the scooters with me to the drop-off point." And so we each rode scooters there, came back, got 4 more, and rode them back again. It was a lot of fun, and I literally just put kids to work, and they helped me.
hold on, pause. Did you just like tiny child labor law because you didn't pay them?
I mean, they were at least 16 because they drove a car there.
Well,
I was like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. Technically, they're not allowed to be on scooters unless they're 18.
That needs to be deleted. So
I
Josh
think that's the
doesn't get
thing
his.
on Lime right now.
I don't know. Whatever.
But
I mean, I'm sure that there's kids that have their parents' credit cards linked to their stupid Lime
account,
and they're just clicking through. Yes, I'm good.
In general, though, one of the things I've been doing is I was researching Lime, and Spin is the other company in Omaha, and I think Spin's also one of the companies in Detroit. Had no idea Spin is completely funded by the Ford Motor Company. It is.
I knew that.
Yeah, it's a separate company, but they got grant money from Ford to do this. And the way that they do it is Lime pays individual people like Ubers basically to go out and pick stuff up, and you get paid on what you pick up and what you do. Spin pays you a salary to drive their vehicles around and collect and deposit scooters all day. It's actually like a full-time job, which is kind of not a bad thing either because it's fun.
There's a few videos about that on the internet, and if you actually compare the quality of the scooter after a few months of use, the Spin is actually shown to be less damage because a lot of the people throw the scooters and stuff in trucks and throw them in the back of cars, and they get broken more often than a professional, or a guy that does it every single day
who's held
in the same
accountable.
spot. I wouldn't even say, definitely held accountable. Stuff breaks all the time, but
also if you have a set vehicle and like they could have racks in there that were they could have the transit vehicles where you could just park those things in the racks, and then you're not tossing them in the back of the Tesla or in the back of a truck like that dude did, or whichever.
And the one thing I have noticed though is Lime is a lot. So Bird is way more successful than everybody. Bird's probably the number one.
BYRD?
No, I think it's BIRD still.
Oh.
But Lime is second, and then Spin is third. So Spin pays more money to have their people do this, which I think, like Dale said, makes it a better, the product longevity stays out there longer. But as far as like profitability, like Lime is super profitable because we're all independent contractors going to charge these things using our own power and everything. And it's one of the reasons though, so I think a Spin scooter costs more money to use from what I've done. Like I used a Spin scooter when I was in Denver, and it was more money to use the scooter than it is to use the Lime scooter. The Lime scooter has a smaller upfront cost, higher per minute cost. The Spin scooter has a higher upfront cost, slightly cheaper per minute cost. So,
well, it's fun.
I enjoyed doing it, and it was a lot of fun.
You actually rode one like down the street more than just like dropping them off?
Yeah, I had to do it in Denver.
I mean, I guess what would you consider like a long enough distance to get your point or get to what you're trying to make?
Well, I rode from downtown Detroit. They were both downtown Detroit, I guess. From one side of the city to the other. And a lot of that had no sidewalk, at least where I was going. And so I had to ride in the street where it was very bumpy, a lot of potholes. It was a very uncomfortable ride. And then we got this one street that was super nice and was, newly paved one. That
new black tar.
New black top. Yeah, that was nice.
I will say, when I was in Denver, so as far as Lime's concerned, like they tell you, like you're supposed to obey traffic laws. Except when I was in Denver, I had no idea what the traffic laws were. So I knew there was a bike lane, so I just followed the bike lane in the street with the scooters. But in Omaha, you're not supposed to be on the sidewalk. You're supposed to be in the street. And there's a couple streets where I did ride the Lime scooter on it, and it was like pothole central. And I ended up just like...
So that's interesting because a lot of cities say because it's an electric scooter, a lot of laws haven't been written for the electric variety of stuff lately. And so if it was under gas-powered, then you're right, it would have to be in the street. But if it's under electric power, a lot of laws haven't been written. Do you know if there's a law written specifically for electric scooters or electric bikes?
For it. There's a city ordinance in Omaha for it that police are enforcing. Not as much as you'd think. It's kind of more just so like if you're being crazy on the sidewalk and you're like bunny hopping off things and
I think the biggest thing is it's hard to enforce because all they would have to do is say, I'm dropping it off here. Like that's all somebody would have to say. Like,
I mean,
I'm dropping it
No,
off.
the act still happens, so I mean,
Yeah.
you could still get a ticket for it.
I mean, yes, but it's
I got a
easily,
ticket from a horse cop in Old Neil Market.
it's easily disputable if you were to take it to court. Like,
That's
I mean, it's not worth their time. They can say, "Oh, hey, get off the street, get off the sidewalk, get on the street."
and that's why I think it's just a fine. Like that's the thing. Like it's not a court date appearance thing. Like you can't go there and do anything about it. Yeah, it's like my parking ticket that I had. I can't do anything about it.
You can do tons of stuff about parking tickets.
Not so. It was dumb. I parked in a parking garage and didn't pay. I didn't know it was prepay for the parking garage. I thought it was postpaid for the parking garage. So then when we left, I was like trying to figure out what to do. And I had a ticket on my car and I called in and they're just like, first of all, it was advertised as free EV parking for 7 hours. So I was like, cool. But I didn't know I still had to go hit the button, say I was in this EV stall, and then it would credit me back for the time I was there. Didn't know that was the case. Like it wasn't clearly written. And the person's like, well, didn't you see the signs? I was like, no, we took a freight elevator or the employee elevator down into the convention center and then across the street. So no, I didn't see any signs. And they're like, well, that's no excuse. Like you knew that it said parking was this much per hour and you didn't pay anything. And I was like, but it also said electric cars charged for free for 7 hours and I didn't pay anything. So, and then I told them it was my birthday and they reduced my ticket by 50%. So
nice.
That was kind of cool. Yeah, I was really excited. And I was like, it was a $50 ticket. And then they were like, well, a full day of sitting in the parking lot for 7 hours is $25.
Is it a ticket from the city or is it a ticket from the people?
It was the city of Denver.
Because if the people that own the property give you a ticket, you can throw that on the ground.
Oh, I know. I do that.
That is not enforceable at all.
Yeah.
I mean, don't litter. You know what I mean?
That's another citation from the person there.
Feels like fuck.
If they want to, though, I guess. So that was one of the things that that I found out the hard way too. If they want to, they can. Like if they give you a ticket, it's still private property, and then they can tow your car and
if
have
it's still on there, of course. But
yeah, but so if you get like 3 tickets
and you don't pay their tickets, then they'll, instead of writing you a ticket, they'll just tow your car.
They have every right to. What I'm saying is, if you get a ticket and you don't want to go back to that place, you don't do anything.
It's the Denver Convention Center, so I'm assuming I'll probably have to go there at some point in time.
All right, we've talked too much about lime
scooters and parking in Denver, but yes, I rode one, and they were very uncomfortable to ride on the streets and hit potholes with because there's no shocks.
Speaking of Denver, since it's a good segue, we're going to be at Colorado Springs Comic-Con at Chapel Hills Mall in the old Sears location, August 23rd. That's coming up this week. This podcast will hopefully be out by the time we're already in Colorado Springs. That'll be awesome. So tickets for that run Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is $25, Saturday $35, and Sunday $30. Or you can get a 3-day pass for $75. Basically takes $5 off each day. Ish. It's $15 discount.
I think the VIP tickets are sold out now.
Yeah, VIP are sold out. And you're going to see a lot of great things there. Mostly what we care about is the things that we're affiliated with, which is Project Nerd, and the cosplayers that are in I'll say in bed with us. No, that's not the cosplayers that are affiliated with us. That's the word. And then obviously the pop-up blockers. Ching Chang, our new deal over here is sponsoring Project Nerd for this convention. So putting a little bit of money up, get some logos on some stuff. I want to put this fireball back in my mouth.
Fireball. But yeah, Colorado Springs. We talked about guests last week or 2 weeks ago on the podcast. So I think that's definitely going. Do you
have any things about like Colorado? We talk about the convention a lot, but the atmosphere of Colorado is obviously something we don't get to experience very often. Josh,
like the altitude atmosphere.
No, not how
That's
high.
what I was thinking. I was like, the altitude, I guess, is nice, Drew, but I don't get what you're saying.
Walking up hills sucks.
I wasn't talking about how high you get in Colorado Springs. I was talking about like Tucanos or another eatery or the
Torchy's
Tacos or like seeing the mountains. And
we don't get to experience that much because we're there to work.
I mean,
no, I understand.
I still like when we were there for
visual.
Yeah, like when we were there for Project Cosplay, I think I commented on it when I was at Project Cosplay. It was crazy to wake up every morning, go outside, and just see the mountains as part of the backdrop of the scenery. Like I think that was just a lot of fun that you don't get in flat Nebraska, or it's like seeing the Great Lakes in Michigan. I think honestly, it's equally as comparable. And
I mean, yeah, I the crazy thing would be to like take a overpass and see literally just lake after like water continuously. It's something people see. Everybody's seen these things before, or not everybody. A lot of people have seen these things, but when you don't see it every day, you don't take it like for its beauty factor or what have you.
Yeah, and I definitely, so I think Tucanos, I know we mentioned that too, is like my favorite Brazilian place I've ever went to.
Not more than Tejas de Brazil?
Then, yep. Even though it's not like the food quality, I think is just a little less than Tejas on Texas de Brazil, now that I'm saying it correctly. I do think that I love the drinks. So the drink menu at Texas de Brazil is like
Tucanos.
Well, the drink menu at Texas de Brazil just isn't any, like, it's like, oh, wine and some alcohol and some beer. Like, it's just not anything like fun. Like Tucanos has like, try this awesomely like delicious rum fruity cocktail for something dollars. And I get like a mango fruit cocktail with rum, and it's delicious.
Nice.
So I'm really excited to go there.
What about you, Dale? Anything that you're excited for?
I'm excited for the Brazilian, obviously, because I love eat all the steaks and whatnot. But excited to see the people like I always do. But mountains, I guess, would be nice. I'd like to do more outside of the convention. We rarely get to do anymore.
Well, that's what I really want to try and do Thursday, because we're not like
doing
anything Thursday besides picking your ass up. And
we don't have to. If you guys want to leave later, and then I can get Carrie or take an Uber to what's his name, South. We can talk about that later.
But anyway, yeah. I'm really excited to do something besides just the convention. Like, knowing that we have Thursday to do stuff, it was actually like, I know I bitched about it a little bit earlier. Like, oh, we didn't have to leave as early as Wednesday, but I'm actually looking forward to leaving.
Yeah, I went to Mile High Stadium last time I was in Denver.
Well, that was
when I visited Iggy.
That was like a month ago.
I know, but like it's that thing. Like, if you plan your trip accordingly with like an extra day to like sightsee.
Yeah, you just left it early. You didn't plan it. You just left early.
I did. I left early. It was fantastic.
So yeah, Colorado Springs. That kind of rolled that in because we were talking about Denver anyway. Yeah. We just turned me down 10%, Dale.
You fade off a lot, and so it's hard to gauge you.
Fade out, don't fade away. Just kidding.
All right, how's this, Dale?
Sound good?
Is it better?
Mic check.
Yeah, mic check. Sounds good.
Awesome.
All right. So let's get back into the rest of sexy news here.
So this was something that Drew and I were kind of arguing about a little bit. Turns out that Toy Story 4 just passed the $1 billion box office mark, which makes it the fourth. I know, I can't remember. Fourth or fifth highest grossing film or animated film by Disney within a single year. So Disney's had 4, I believe, $1 billion films within 1 year, which is, kudos to Disney. I'm really excited about the future of Disney. I really like, if I could buy Disney Plus today and spend like a whole $68 on the year, I totally would. Like, I'm ready for it. I want it.
Isn't that out yet?
You can't pay for it yet.
It's all beta streaming right now.
It's not even beta. Like, it's just saying like, we'll let you know when it goes on sale to buy your 1 year.
I thought they were testing it in like a beta mode. I think it's in pre-testing.
I'm signed up for alerts and I haven't got anything for it, but yeah, I'm really excited. Disney's doing some awesome stuff. Just a quick little thing.
So the Toy Story bit is not like, did you touch on the Lion King thing yet?
Well, so yeah, the other thing too, that this isn't technically, I guess it is, but Oh, that's what it was. So it was, Toy Story was just $1 billion movie. It had nothing to do with it being animated.
Yeah.
So it was the fourth $1 billion movie from Disney within 1 year, which is a record. And then on top of that, The Lion King just passed Frozen as the highest grossing animated film of all time.
Which is what we were arguing about earlier.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to tote something as live action, even if it's CGI'd, it's not technically animated, in my opinion. And that means, I mean,
it can't be both, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to call it live action, then you're going to have CGI. That's fine. But at that point, at that rate, because Shrek was all CGI, that could have been live action.
It's DreamWorks.
It doesn't. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just using it as an example. I know it's the different company, but I mean, it was all CGI.
Yeah.
So it could have been considered live action at that rate because.
And I think no one was really calling. I mean, we were calling it the live action remake, but I remember I even touched on this before. Like I said, that it's not a true live action. Not using live meerkats and like lions to do this. Like
was any of it non-CGI animals?
I don't think so, honestly. I think
like I didn't see the movie, but like were there any like scenes where you just saw animals in a natural habitat
into like real life situations? It was the same way they did the Jungle Book. So the Jungle Book was like entirely
I didn't see the Jungle Book
animated,
but you didn't. But they didn't animate the kid.
No, it was the kid interacting with like.
So, but what
puppets.
You're saying is because there's literally no actual live human, they're considering it animated. Because the rest of it, the backdrops are all cinematically or real backdrops. They're shooting,
for the most part. I mean, a lot of that was animated too.
Yeah, I think that's.
If it was all CGI, then I guess it's all animated. But
at that point, yes. But I mean, if you're going to call it live action,
but then the flip side of that is like how much of Avengers Endgame was CGI as well.
But there's
live actors there like acting out these parts.
Yeah,
whereas
exactly.
I could say, an actor acting out the parts would make it a live action movie. Whereas in like The Lion King,
which is what you're saying,
voice actors behind a soundstage who never had to interact.
That's
with
what I'm saying. That's why I said okay, since there's literally no actual person and there's no actual animal, maybe you could call it
I think there were some shots where like if there was like birds flying across, like they might have had like a real shot of birds flying across the sun or something like that. But for the most part, it was I mean, the opening scene was shot for shot the same as the animated.
Like, so they would
literally like gazelles all like look up at the same time, and then all the animals come running.
Yeah,
and then Rafiki just takes Simba and chops him off the thing and punches.
There's the Lion King, like you could have done this with it, but you didn't like make it look like a real tiger, but make it also look like the actual characters. Like you could have made it real, but kept the actual look of the characters. And
I just reminded myself of like the Cats trailer and how everyone hates cats right now.
I mean, I don't
know. Idris Elba's in that?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
There's like 40 big name people in there. Idris Elba.
Taylor Swift.
Idris Elba is in everything now.
He was in one hell of a man.
He was in Hobbs and Shaw. He almost beat The Rock up. Or he did beat The Rock up. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, at that rate, when there's literally not a single real animal, I guess you could call it animated, but I think there's a line where you go, okay, animated is like cartoon-ish looking, like, but if you're going to make it live action, even if it's CGI, it's still going to be live action. It shouldn't. And I guarantee the fucking people at Frozen are going, what the fuck? That's not real. That's not animated. Like, I mean, I guarantee they're having the same conversation we are.
I'm pretty sure it's probably the same team.
I mean, probably, but
it's the same people. Like, I mean, Derek, we're talking about that too.
Honestly, it might not be.
There's probably people spearheading Frozen.
Right, they can't work on both at the same time.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the style of CGI is different for different departments.
Yeah, the style of animation, because it's an animated movie, is different. But anyway, let's get on with this this last bit of TV /
So just real quick, we were just talking since we're talking about streaming stuff. Netflix had a couple premieres, Netflix exclusives. both from Nickelodeon, which was kind of cool. So Viacom and CBS, I think, merged together, and that's might have something to do with this. But Invader Zim had a movie on Netflix that's supposed to be getting the TV show back. And then Rocko's Modern Life also had a movie that came out that's supposed to be precursoring for a remake of the show. And there was a lot of like self-aware moments in Rocko's Modern Life about like catering to nostalgia and stuff like that. And then there was also the introduction of a trans character. So it was a pretty woke show back in the day. And it's even pretty woke now.
Is it a new character or did they
It's a character who was male who transitioned to female.
But no, was it a character that we knew?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily want to spoil it because I actually couldn't find out who it was exactly. I was not a Rocko's Modern Life fan back in the day.
I loved Rocko's Modern Life, so if you could tell me who it is now, I would know.
A picture of it.
Oh, okay. So the other thing, and I'll touch on this because it's
that person.
Nice.
I have no idea who it was.
So touch on Rocko's Modern Life. The Proud Family is also coming to Disney Plus streaming services.
Ooh.
So I know that we're Invader Zim and Rocko's Modern is more Netflix related, but we were talking about Disney Plus earlier.
Yeah.
Penny Proud
Netflix
and the Proud Family are making their way to streaming services with Disney Plus. So that's pretty cool.
Is it just the episodes before, or is it
no? It's new episodes. So
That's
they're
awesome.
going to bring the old episodes back to Disney Plus, and then they're going to bring new
Was
episodes to.
Beyonce one of the characters?
It
It was
was
one of the Knowles.
It was
I
like
just can't remember.
I thought it was like Alicia Keys or something like somebody.
I can't remember.
Not Beyonce. I don't know. We'll look.
Was
it
it somebody from Destiny's Child that was in it? Possibly. We'll look it up later. I don't think.
So
Do I have to look it up?
If
yeah,
you want
please.
to.
So
Actually, don't look it up because I'm about to
yeah.
ask you a pop culture literacy question, Dale.
yeah, it's pop culture literacy time. We'll look it up.
You ready, Dale? Ready for this?
Is it about Proud Family?
No.
Nope.
Then it's fine if I look it up then
About
real
a
quick.
wonderful celebrity couple.
Yeah, but you might see it on the Google.
Yeah. It's
So
trending.
what about Destiny's Child? You said
Cast members in it. Who were they? Because I thought there was somebody who was a Knowles in the. But.
Proud Family theme song, Foliage featuring Destiny's Child.
Oh, Solange. Okay, so she was in Destiny's Child. Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, I knew it was somebody from Destiny's Child. I thought, but
the Google's away.
good.
All right.
So yeah, what I was gonna say is there has been a recent high-profile breakup in the celebrity community.
This is actually pop culture.
Yeah, it is pop culture. It was.
This
It's
is like
kind of
celeb news. It's like
I'm asking
tabloids.
you this for the reason that I think it's funny. But so a nice newlywed couple is now pretty much getting divorced. Do you know who it might be, Dave?
So a newlywed couple is now getting divorced,
Yep.
and they're celebrities.
I'll give you a clue. You got the question right
Like 10
a
weeks
couple
ago.
months ago for who they married.
The Chris Hemsworth or not Chris, Liam Hemsworth,
Yep.
Yeah. Who else?
and the girl.
Oh, I mean, I would hope because
It's just really funny because
I don't remember.
I asked you like, who it was,
Yeah.
and you got it right. And then now they're breaking up. And
Is it Anna Kendrick?
no, she used to be on Disney.
That's not helpful. At
I mean,
all.
it's kind of helpful.
Everyone used to be on Disney.
okay, she
Justin
was on
Timberlake
Disney,
used to
and
be
then
on
she
Disney.
turned into a terrible person, but then she kind of became a good person again.
She
Miley
wasn't on
Cyrus?
There you go.
There you go.
No
Dale.
fucking way. I didn't know that was real.
It was literally like 3 months ago. We talked about them getting together.
Oh damn.
We have lived through the marriage and divorce of this podcast. Has lived through that length of time.
Our pop culture illiteracy questions have lived longer
That's true.
than that. Really, well, the relationship technically it might not be over, but they're having some marital troubles, and it is high-profile news.
Who isn't?
Yeah, right.
Well, Have fun hearing that, wives listening to the podcast later.
Where were we? So we're gonna get into some nerdy news now. Dale, hit this one up. Spearhead it. You should
With Overwatch.
Overwatch this.
Overwatch.
Topic.
So lately, Overwatch has been coming back with fruition. A lot of people have been playing it again due to new characters, but mainly because of something called role queue. Role queue is where you get to actually select either between tank, damage, or support ahead of time in competitive play. They're probably going to bring the role queue to quick play as well because it becomes so popular. But this way, it actually means that more people who are actually tryhards or actually want to play the game the way it's played and not just trolling will get into the game and actually play the game well because your skill rating actually depends on it. And I have been bronze for a long time. I believe that I am a high silver, possibly I think gold or whatever is beyond silver
Platinum
player. Platinum, not that high. Maybe it's platinum. I don't know. But I think I'm higher than bronze, but I've never been able to get there because of so many people either throwing or whatnot. But this has actually raised my SR up because people actually give a shit.
So the role queue, what is that? Does that mean if you want to play a tank, you get put into that spot and you can only select those characters?
Yep. So it's 2-2-2. It's 2 tanks, 2 damage, 2 healers. Okay. And you can only select the damage people. You can only select the, whatever you select ahead of time. And you have an individual SR for each one. So you have an individual SR for support, tank, and healer, or support, tank, and damage. I think I like that, but I would like there to be like an overall SR because if you want to play with your friend, how do you know what SR you have to play with?
Yeah.
Because I know I play with some guys that are diamond right now, and I'm just at the bottom of where they're at. So we can play together. So it has to be less than 1,000 away from each other.
Oh, hold on. So if you're not in the same skill rating, then you can't play together?
Correct.
That's unfortunate because of the preview.
Because it's unfair to the people who are lower tier to be teamed up with somebody that's higher tier. So if I was to join up with a guy that's really good, and then he would just boost my level up super, super high, but he has to be just high enough where it doesn't really affect the people that are too low.
That was something I liked about because when Diablo did that for the added a ton of extra difficulty levels beyond it's just really insane how many levels there were. But when you used to be able to go the novice easy, medium, hard, inferno settings, and those were it.
Mm-hmm.
It made it so you didn't have to worry about being grouped in a game with a bunch of inferno players that are way more into the game than someone who just wants to casually play and get better. Yeah, as someone who I've been playing Star Wars Battlefront lately, and I am so much worse than every single person who plays that game to the point where I want to throw the game because I'm hurting my whole entire team because I suck at playing any shooter now.
Well, the good thing about this new role queue is because I know a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll be a healer or they'll be a tank and they're not doing enough damage, and the people who are doing damage aren't doing enough damage, or they're not good. And so what happens is they'll switch off their role. So we'll go from 2 healers to no healers because the both healers think they can do better. And yeah, they might get a few extra kills, but the overall no one gets healed, so the whole game gets lost.
Yeah.
Now, if they were to stick with their characters, then you are forced to actually have to play and actually find a solution to the problem. Switch off a hero, switch off a counter, or you're getting countered too hard, switch on something else.
Yeah.
So it's actually requires you to play the game now, which I am enjoying because my SR is skyrocketing. I am doing very well for that.
But is that happening because not just because the game is being played better, or is that because you're playing with higher tier people?
I don't think I'm playing with higher tier people. I'm playing with people who I'm probably playing with the same trolls and the same people I was playing with before, but because they're being forced into role queue, now they have to play the tank because we need tanks. We have to play supports because we need supports. We have to play damage.
Do you find a lot of dropping in games when people don't get what they want? Or
No, because they select it prior to even queuing up.
Okay, so like if I wanted to be Reinhardt, I could select a tank queue before we even get into matchmaking.
So you select, tank right away, and then you start queuing up for tanks.
Okay. Next thing, does that make it harder to select or harder to find matchmaking games? Like, is it harder for matchmaking because there's too many damage people, like DPS people, and then
I don't think so. I've been noticing, obviously, not a lot of people like support.
Yeah, and
so support usually when you select support, you're queued up almost instantly right away.
Because I think that was one of the issues with, and we'll talk about this in a minute. But like Apex Legends, where people weren't playing in the one set of servers enough, so the games were taking forever. So they shut that server off and forced people into, or I think it was maybe Ring of Elysium. They're forcing people into a specific server type because they don't have enough people to make the game run.
Yeah, that's what they're doing, because they shut down duos because they don't have enough to get the game going.
Yeah.
So what they do is they just have squads or single player. No, I definitely think that's the case. That they have individual, like if you're solo queuing, then you're going to have individual times based on which role you select, and it's actually says it right underneath it. How much time you have on average.
Yeah.
But it's always quicker than what it says anyway.
I wonder if when they're adjusting characters, they'll adjust a tank, a support, and a damage character at the same time. Like if they're going to adjust skills.
No, they adjust they adjust characters on the fly pretty often.
Yeah.
They give people buffs. They give people nerfs. They want the heroes balanced, where one character isn't going to be able to kill another character super easy. You'd have to be very skilled to do that, or you can get countered with another character. So it would have to be like this character would counter this character, this character would counter this character.
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Exactly. So it's just a scenario where they're constantly updating stuff, and I think they do a phenomenal job. People went by the wayside and stopped playing it for a while. I'm guilty of that, but after a while, Overwatch is coming back. Hopefully it stays. We don't need an Overwatch 2. I don't know why people keep saying, oh, what's the next one? What's the next game?
So all they need to do is add more maps, add more characters.
That's what they're doing.
Add different game types. They don't need to, with Destiny at this point, I mean, and even No Man's Sky, they're just updating the game to make the gameplay better. No Man's Sky Beyond is literally, it boots up the same way as No Man's Sky, same disc, same everything. And you're like, right now you can get No Man's Sky on Humble Bundle for half off, $30, and the game is basically No Man's Sky 2 in an update.
That almost sounds like something that another game franchise has been using for a long time, where they just keep adding patches and new expansions to the same game that's been around for 20 years.
But this is
when you change a game like from Diablo 2 to Diablo, or from Diablo 2 to Diablo 3, do you have new graphics, new engines, new everything? It's simply different.
The problem with Diablo and those top-down games is I don't think that there's enough enough detail in that stuff to even warrant a change in the graphics. Like those top downs, like you can get better graphics for cutscenes, but those like
No, I agree with you. Once you get to Diablo 3, there shouldn't be a Diablo 4.
I don't think so. I think it should be Diablo. I think you should get Diablo, and this is the same way I feel about most games.
Yeah.
That are like Diablo and World of Warcraft and everything like that and World of Warcraft is doing great with it. You come
out with an expansion, you get the money there, you have a new area, new world, new characters, new whatever.
Just like it's a DLC.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way Diablo should work.
I think because they changed time frames for them, though, I think that's why we had Diablo 2 and Diablo 3.
But I think
for the story,
World of Warcraft did time frames, and they've had from the beginning. They came back and they jumped through time. They have a new storyline. You can do that with the same. Just have
you just have expansion packs keep coming out in time. And I mean, and that's what obviously there's been 2 expansion packs from Diablo 2. There's been 3 expansion packs for Diablo 3 at this point in time. So now we're actually up to like 10 Diablo games right now.
So that's why I think that Overwatch shouldn't have a second game, is because you have a storyline. As long as you come up with new characters, make it how like Dota or League of Legends or any of those games, Heroes of the Storm, you have new characters come out. It continues a story. You come up with events like they're doing. They're doing a great job, in my opinion. It just got a little stale for people, and this role queue, I think, are bringing people back.
And I think companies like EA, for instance, like really likes the let's sell somebody a video game every year. That's just an updated copy of the video game before.
Well, and that's a big thing. I mean, you get Call of Duty, you get that. I mean, that stuff. Those games. I probably bought one of those games in the last 5 years. I don't go out and buy every Call of Duty. I do go out and buy every Halo, but I mean that's also that's one of those things where I don't think that is the type of game I think should update based on that. I think even Destiny, they're starting to do it with Destiny, where you got Destiny and then they added 3 different expansion packs to it, and then Destiny 2 came out, and then they were like, well, this is dumb. It's the exact same thing. We should have just put Destiny 2 out as a big $30 patch or whatever, updated the graphics, because you can play Destiny 2 stuff with the Destiny 1 disc and buy the DLC. And it basically just gives you the rights to play the game. Like it doesn't have it's not anything.
So the other thing too, so I know we've got a couple different video game things we're going to touch on here. So if we move on to the next topic, and then we get to the very end, I think we can summarize a lot, or 4 stories down. It's going to summarize some of this stuff too. Yeah. Once we start talking about this. So
I haven't heard much about this.
Yeah, it is huge. It is big. So World of Warcraft Classic is coming out. A lot of World of Warcraft. This is a perfect example of exactly what we're talking about.
Exactly. So I was like, let's move on.
It's changed so much over the years. When you had the original World of Warcraft, you had to work at certain sections of your character. You had to pick what spells you wanted to do. It was very personal. Now all you have to do is gain levels and you get all the spells. Or you do all the quests, you get all the spells. Back in World Classic, you had to choose a path. You had to choose certain things. A lot of people like that. And so there's actually servers nowadays, right now, that you can log into and play World of Warcraft for free. And those are becoming a lot more popular than the real thing. So World of Warcraft Classic, Blizzard decided to come out with the Classic version and still play and make mucho money off it. Yeah. And so all the friends I play video games with, they all have their names already picked out with the World of Warcraft Classic. They all know what server they're going to be on. They're all ready to go.
Only the first expansion for World of Warcraft then? Like the first?
No, this is so you had World of Warcraft and then you get more expansions. Yeah. This is literally the same game back in the day, a little bit better graphics and stuff like that, but almost the exact same game. They're calling it World of Warcraft Classics.
No, I know. So, I mean, that's what I was saying is it's the first expansion. It's the same game.
Yep.
First World of Warcraft, basically, expansion. I would call it an expansion because it's the first one, so it's not an expansion. But
I would say it's a brand new game.
Yeah, from what I understand, there's been years that Blizzard has been like aggressively taking down these servers too.
Aggressively, you can't even because here's the thing: when I joined the server
stuff too,
I joined some servers that I can get on for World of Warcraft, these secret ones, and I can't stream on them. I can't talk about them online that much. I can only within certain Discord channels or certain sites. I can only talk about stuff.
Because I know that was a big thing when I was in college. A lot of my friends that were there would play on the classic servers. Yeah, technically, but they'd play on the classic servers, and
I got them, Dale.
When they shut down, it was one of the largest servers just a couple years ago. It made national news. Because it was a lot of people that were now going to refuse to play Warcraft. Because
See, I have
WoW, I should say, because these guys don't like when I say Warcraft.
I have the same thing for an old game called Black and White, and I'm still trying to navigate how to play that on this like basically bootleg copy of this game. It's not. I don't think it's a bootleg copy. I mean, I think it's a homebrew of the game. We'll call it, but it's through this whole website. They're just trying to play this game that you can't get anywhere. You can't buy it anywhere. It's basically.
So does it sound like the game's coming out on the 27th? Is that what?
It was actually coming out on this, I believe, the 8th or the 10th of August.
Yeah.
They had to push it back because of so many people wanting to do this.
Yeah.
They had to like scale a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they had to put enough space on or enough power to all the
Well, they actually like the login queues are over 10,000 right now. That's not per realm. That is per region.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah. So when you log in, the people are saying if you're logging in North America on the day it releases, try logging on to Europe or Asia or the other ones they have available, because it's going to be a clusterfuck that first day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So we talked about a little bit about this already in Apex Legends, or about Apex Legends and stuff, but there's actually people. I think you said you played this today, but I was reading that people are duoing and single just to ruin the single player game. Like there's people who, okay, I know what you're.
Yeah, it's called teaming. It happens. It's an unfortunate aspect of the game.
Yeah. So
it happens in all single player.
But then also, and this is I think the more pressing stuff. There's I guess a program that people who were trying to cheat downloaded, and it basically took all of their personal information, basically credit card information, all this stuff, and it's like this big karma like FU thing. Like they're downloading a program so that they can cheat, and they're getting screwed over, and it's
I get it. Yeah.
But that was on my Apple News today, and I was just kind of interested in that. But the other thing that was on my Apple News was the information for Google Stadia. It's coming out in November. They kind of have a launch date.
Holiday season.
Yeah, the holiday season. So they've got a cool website on it, but it's kind of one of those interactive websites. No more waiting for game downloads. Isn't that pretty cool?
That's fun.
So one way to play all of your games, basically on your PC, you can pre-order it right now. The setup is going to be 60 frames per second, 4K resolution, HDR support, and 5.1 surround sound. If you get the Founders Edition, which
hey, you guys just cut out for a minute, so
a whole minute?
No, just for less than 10 seconds. You said Founders Edition, and then that's the last thing I heard.
Okay, the internet connection is apparently getting unstable.
It could be mine. We have a thunderstorm here.
So the Founders Edition gets you all that stuff I mentioned before, the 60 frames per second, 4K HDR. You can play it on literally any of your Google devices, so your Pixel, your desktops, if you have Google Chrome or anything like that booted up on your desktops. That's coming in at $129. Like I said, it includes the controller, the Google, the 3 months of Google Stadia, and then the Google Chromecast Ultimate, which is able to play that in 4K resolution. So they do have some spec requirements for the data. If I remember correctly, it's somewhere around here.
In the middle, you passed it a little bit.
Yeah. They have a recommendation. Yeah, so they're saying basically to get 4K, you need to have around 30 megabits per second, or 35 megabits per second for the best. But you can do it with 10 megabits and still get 720p at 60 frames per second.
You can test your on the website.
I've actually seen a lot of ads for like Shadow, which is another version, a few other ones, Edios or Elios or something.
Yeah,
coming out with similar products that are playing like PC games.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing on another computer, like how Google Stadia is. I think that's a market that a lot of people are tapping into, having these, consoles or computers that are built that are, you build out of somewhere else and then stream it to where you're doing it. If that ping is less than 100, you're doing pretty good anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I don't have a lot of consoles anymore. We got rid of a lot of them. The only thing I currently have is my or the only next gen console that I have is right now is my my Switch. The benefit of this is I have 3 Chromecasts in my house. I've got my PC, I've got Tasha's PC, we've got like I said, 3 Chromecasts, smart TVs, whichever. And I mean this is looking enticing because for the price of a Ultimate Edition video game, I can get Google Stadia, the Founders Edition for $129, get a Buddy Pass for 3 months of free for Josh, and he could get the regular edition of the game. And
does it work with Apple TV?
I don't think it works.
Why would it?
I know, I was messing around.
But the cool thing is they're giving you this like midnight blue controller with like the orange accenting, which looks really cool, and I'm really excited to do that. But
so I think this is, and one of the things I was going to comment, the reason why I wanted to get to this is the solution to the problem that we were just talking about with all the other games. Instead of releasing hard copies of the games every time there's a new update comes out.
But see, here's the thing.
No,
this is the deal.
Okay.
This is the deal with this is you still have to pay for the games.
Yeah.
And so there is that. But even with DLC games, you buy Destiny, you buy Overwatch, you buy Call of Duty, you buy that game, and they can release DLC for it, or they can choose not to.
Yeah.
That's all the developers' thing. This is not going to change the developers' minds.
Let me finish, because you're around what it's going to do, and this is totally true, by putting games on a server that's external to all these systems and consoles. You're not going to have to release physical copies of discs, which means why waste money in producing physical copies of games when you can invest more money into things like...
Who has physical copies of discs anymore?
Well, I still buy a physical disc, but that's not the. I don't think that's true at all, because
I don't think that's
doesn't matter about the disc.
I haven't bought a disc game since I lived at home with my parents 7 years ago.
The thing is not about. I don't care about the physical copy. I buy physical. I'm on you with physical side. The fact is you're right. They don't have to put money into physical games, which means they're increasing their profit margins if they do exactly the same thing that they're doing and not putting them out on physical discs. They're going to still launch new games every time, and they're going to produce less disc copies and more server, and then just more allow more people to do them on servers or digital copies or whatever.
But what you were talking about with things like Destiny, where if you have Destiny 1, it's able to just use the server and the updates.
But you still had
DLC.
But you still have to pay for the DLC.
Correct. And
which is
the expansions for World of Warcraft, But you had to pay $60 for the Destiny 2 game, whereas if you were to do like a World of Warcraft, you're paying was it like $22 or $20 for the new expansion every time it comes out? And it's something like that.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper
Brittany's
than buying
got my credit card. She just pays for it, and I don't even.
I don't think this has effect at all on, like, obviously they're saving money on costs. They're not putting out as many discs. That makes sense. But you're right. What you're going to say right here is it's proven. People will buy new games, but it's a pipe dream. We don't want them to produce new games, but that if people will buy it, they're going to do an Overwatch 2. Of course they are. Yeah.
You get more people on a server that are doing the games that can't individually choose to buy the game on their own console system, and the people on the server will have a larger voice.
But the people on the server still have to pay for those games.
Correct. But if the people on the server want change, they're going to get change faster than a bunch of individuals on their own Xbox.
I'm confused what we're talking about.
I guess I think we're fighting two different things.
We were talking about why the games, instead of releasing 14 different versions of Diablo every time they come out, or 2K. So NBA 2K is a perfect example of that right now because no one's buying 2K. Like the NBA 2K just keeps adding updates to it, whereas Madden, which just launched, is literally just did Madden 20, and it is like, I mean, every
Virtually
time
the
it's
same
literally
game.
the same game, photocopy, update some rosters and things like that.
I agree. Yeah, it's
You put
it's
Madden on a server instead of in game mode and add more people on that server than are buying individual discs, then it's going to be more profitable for Madden to just turn around and say.
But you're not understanding that you still have to buy this. You get this.
This cost is still the same.
You still have to buy a $60 game to access that game.
I get that. I'm not saying that you don't have to buy that and that they can't just sit there and be like, hey, we're going to.
So how does this change anything?
By having other games that aren't doing that on the same server, the server is going to dictate, people are going to be using Stadia to play games and choosing to play that instead of other games because of how the games are working all in one group.
They're going to be picking the game they want to play.
Right now, if everybody that bought the Xbox version of Madden says we don't want to buy the next Xbox version of Madden, and so they don't buy the next Xbox version of Madden, but PlayStation sales go up, PC version sales go up, and then online, like the online things like that, it's a smaller voice. But if you put PlayStation, Xbox, PC all into one server, and then those entire people say, hey, we're sick and tired of paying $60 for the exact same game every time, they have a larger collected voice, and therefore the companies will be able to listen better.
Yeah, but I think this is just going to divide the market just as much as another console.
This should replace the market for consoles. That was the talking point we had a long time ago. Server-based gaming and having better hardware, like PCs to play the hardware, is going to be more important than
I agree with that, but this is more about game development. I thought we were talking more about game development.
I thought that's where we're at.
But game development's driven by sales.
I would say game development is driven by sales, but like if you have a new expansion of something, there's no difference in if it's on the Stadia or if it's on console at home or on a PC or anything. The price is the same.
Exclusives have been doing this a lot longer by not releasing sequels of the games and instead just updating DLC or things like that long before the console industry has. So by forcing the console industry to now join the server industry,
I don't understand.
I don't understand how we're missing it.
There's something we're missing.
PC gamers, so people who game on PCs,
yep,
on PC exclusive titles.
World of Warcraft is the only thing that does that. The rest of the games, Overwatch is a console game.
It's not. Rocket League is one of them.
Rocket League's not exclusively.
It was for a long time.
It's on everything.
It was exclusive for like 3 months. It was exclusive for like a fraction of the time it's been out.
Correct. I mean, Rocket League's more of a Steam game right now than anything. Rocket League probably gets played more on Steam than any console right now. That's not entirely true, but with the invention of Steam, even like that's one of the things. You're getting more and more people switching to PCs and avoiding the consoles. And what you're getting, I mean, Dale, you're a huge PC Master Race thing. Games that were exclusive for PC were really good at doing this. Diablo is another one. I mean, like I said, we've had technically 10 different Diablo games and only 3 discs.
Okay, but wouldn't you just download the stuff on those servers?
That's what I'm saying they're going to do. But instead of having to buy a $75 new disc every single time for 90% the same game plus 10% new content, when it's on a server, more people will pay a smaller amount of money to just update the DLC.
But they've proven. But I mean,
I don't understand. You're paying the same amount if it's a disc or not a disc.
No, you're not.
Yes, you do. You pay. I can go right now to Steam. Where's my Steam?
There's individual smaller games that are not what we're talking about. I'm talking about big box sale game, Destiny, Overwatch, stuff like that. If you go to GameStop right now and buy Overwatch when it was first come out, it was $60. When I bought it, when I first got it, it was $60. Whether the disc or not, I don't have a disc for it. I bought it through the thing. there's no difference in price. Any DLC that came out with it, you would get it updated through the server through Xbox or PlayStation 4.
Black Ops 4,
and I get
$69 digital copy.
I understand. Black Ops 4 is the problem. You're looking at examples of things that are the problem.
How does not having physical copies have anything to do with the
a Steam
development of a game?
Video game.
That's because it's an independent developer.
That's what I'm saying. If more people are on a server-based game system like Stadia,
but Xbox is already a server-based game system.
No, it's not. Xbox is a disc-based game system. Still,
can't you buy every game on Xbox?
You totally can.
Why would you do that?
Why do they keep making games with a disk drive in them?
I would assume people who doesn't want to hook up to the internet.
And that's the majority of Xbox users.
The people that don't want to hook up to the internet?
You'd be surprised how many people that are buying games.
I mean, that was the big thing about the
don't want to go
Xbox.
to a server-based game system.
I will always buy hard copy as long as I can.
Why?
Because it's a tangible thing that is the exact cost of what you're buying digital. Okay. And this is okay. So you get the thing.
Yeah.
If I don't ever want that again, I can still get, even if it's pennies to the dollar, by selling that item.
Yeah.
Google Stadia having a $10 subscription service, giving you Destiny for free for that $10 subscription service. The only thing, I will never buy a game on Stadia. I will only play the games that are in the free service of this free availability. But that is going to be a game from last year. Okay? Right? Those are going to be.
No, I don't understand why you still buy the discs.
Because you get the tangible thing.
Yeah, but you just require the code. So if I had the code that I get emailed, I have the same thing.
Yes, but I can take this disc and put it in any Xbox and play it, even if I don't have that.
Yeah, you can download it on any PC and play the same thing. Like I have my Overwatch on 4 different games.
I could lend the game to Josh, and he could play that disc.
Okay.
So that increases the value of that thing. That 100% for me.
Yep. And as people transition away from that and go to subscription-based gaming service like Xbox Game Pass, Steam has one now too, I think, that you can subscribe and play.
How often does that happen?
But see, here's the thing, and this is where I agree with Dale, is that even though it becomes digital, if it becomes digital and you spend $60, the developers, in my opinion, I'm not a developer, I don't have a big foot in the door, they're not going to change what is working, where they can still, even if they don't put out very many discs, they can still get those suckers like Dale to pay full price for a game that he wants to play.
But we're talking buying DVDs and Blu-ray discs in the Netflix age. That's what we're doing about video games right now.
People still buy digital copies of movies.
Correct. But Netflix makes more money in a year streaming than any of the people making off DVD sales.
Okay.
It's why everything's going to streaming right now, is because there's more money to be made in that kind of service than there is in people buying physical copies of games. And if you switch more people over to server-based games, then you can start adding subscription-based play.
How did the developers change the way they develop games, the rate at which expansions come out, or the rate at which DLCs come
developers
out?
react to, I mean, developers are only going to do what they're told to by the people that are actually in charge.
They're going to be moved by money. So as the money
so the second you find something that's more profitable, like video game streaming services,
that's the
instead
thing,
of hard game discs.
But even then, video, like, you don't need a streaming service, because they sell full price copies of digital games, which cuts out the CD but still keeps the profit at the same margin, or it double, or whatever it does, whatever the percentage is, because they still sell a brand new game at $60 digitally, and that cuts out the disc but keeps it at their full dollar amount. They're going to try and get you to pay for digital without doing the subscription. What I'm saying is subscription is going to be great for older games, Elder Scroll, Destiny 2, Grid, Samurai Showdown. I mean, these are Baldur's Gate 3. Those are games that came out 2 to 5 years ago, and they're going to put those for free on this thing to get you to buy into their monthly subscription, right? Which is what you're saying, right, Josh? You want to be on a subscription?
I'm going to say they're going to do it for every game in the future.
Okay, well, okay, so
you're going to have a Netflix of video games.
You have Games Pass for Xbox that is going to allow you to Games Pass Pro now. Yep. That is going to allow you to play Gears 5 day of launch. Yep. Okay. But there are still going to be people that don't have Games Pass because they don't want to pay a monthly subscription who are going to buy digital at full price, and that's not going to deter anybody from dropping a cost of that digital.
Now, I think I'm understanding what you're saying, Drew, and I disagree with you, because if developers are seeing that more people are going to streaming, they're going to, the same way we lose the headphone jack, we're going to follow the money. They're going to follow where the people are wanting to go. They're going to put the money into streaming and kind of just cut the cord on physical copies.
But then you're going to have every developing company do exactly what fucking Netflix and Disney and them are going to do, and you're going to have to pay every developer company, and then it's just going to divide the market just like it's going to do with the streaming company.
Yep.
I have people who work for the cable company who are like, you know what? I just want cable back because I'd rather pay a fucking cable bill than pay for 12 streaming services.
Welcome to capitalism.
Yep. I mean, that's
how it works.
But what I'm saying is
the crowd can, or the collective can only move the needle so much as a whole. That's why Diablo Immortals is not out right now, because everyone's like, what the fuck? We don't want a mobile game. It's
just the same way where Fable, whatever the Fable one was, died.
Yeah, I think the market,
MOBA Fable,
the collective will move the needle where the market needs to go. People don't like it. People might pay more money. Sure, all that stuff. My initial point was that regardless if it's a physical copy, if it's a downloadable copy, whatever, I don't see that as changing the way that people play. Not changing the way, changing the fact that people will still want to play those games. Those games will still be having a desire, and people will still go out for those games regardless of where the medium is at. The easiest way they can get to it, they'll go to it and pay that money there. Don't care about where it's at as long as they can get to it. And that game develops the same way, regardless if it's a physical copy, regardless if it's a digital copy, or regardless if it's a streaming service.
If it's a subscription-based game that you're paying a monthly subscription for, they will not release new discs every time at full disc cost. You will buy upgrades for the game.
Well, if it's a subscription service, you're not paying any additional premium.
If it's a subscription, you're paying that initial price. Like if you can't pay the brand new games first, then you're going to pay that price.
I mean, looking at Warcraft here specifically, that's one of the things. Like
World of Warcraft,
but that's not a subscription service.
It is.
I mean, it is, but but you're paying a subscription. Oh, what is it? Was $10 a month to
$15 a month, $14.99 to play on the service. Mm-hmm. That is not including the game. You have to buy the game.
Buy the new expansion packs, right?
Yeah.
And every time you buy it, you expand off the game that you bought before.
That is one system. That's not I don't think that constitutes as a streaming service, because
correct. It's a standalone thing, and it's right now. It is what Netflix was in the very beginning. Very few little content on that digital.
That's been out for 15 years, though.
I know
that way of doing it.
I know. So if we can start doing things like Stadia and other things here, where we get people away from physical devices in their home, where they can choose to buy discs, and we put them on digital content server streaming, and more people start adapting to this because of the convenience factor, then it will change how we play video games. Then it will change how we pay for video games, and then it'll change how video games are released.
I think that because you can buy, because Stadia is the streaming service is for the older games. I think that you're still going to have full price games come out that you can pay for on Stadia at $60 a pop. That's digital only. And then you don't have the option to buy hard disk.
This is a conversation that only time will tell, apparently, because it's going to be one of those situations where we don't know how it's going to act, and hopefully it's better for the consumer than anybody. But we are a little bit over on time, so let's.
For the consumer.
Well,
Unlikely, unfortunately.
Better for the.
Better for me. That's all I care about.
So these are games that are actually available to purchase on Stadia, not even part of the streaming service. So you've got Doom Eternal, Mortal Kombat 11, Darksiders Genesis, Farming Simulator 19. So you could buy all these games on Google Stadia. It's not part of the streaming service currently. So you're going to pay whatever the price is for these games, and hopefully it's not crazy. But I guarantee Mortal Kombat just came out. It's still going to be $60 on Google Stadia.
And we know this is an extra long podcast, guys. I just want to apologize for that. But
it's only 10 minutes over.
But the other thing I'm going to say is, for those of you guys heading to Colorado Springs or anything like that, I know we got a couple people who like to listen to our podcasts while they drive. So hopefully you guys are doing that while you're listening to this.
Yeah.
So the exclusive Night Blue Stadia controller and the Google Chromecast Ultra. But that's $129. You can get that shipped in November of 2019. So just 3 months away here. One of the cool features, Dale, I think that you would like this. So they have basically a recording button. So on the controller, you basically have a capture button. So it's pretty neat. But getting back into our little bit here, Project Nerd released a new apparel line, Project Nerd Skate. We're basically getting into some nitty gritty with that. They are full launch this weekend, or this past weekend, I suppose, upon this going out, or 3 weekends ago, whatever it ends up actually being. But so you can follow them on Facebook, Project Nerd or PN Skate, and then Instagram at PN Skate, and check them out at project-nerd.com/PN Skate. And then
this is the letter P, the letter N, skate, not P and skate at the same time, which we do not recommend doing, even though I've done it plenty of times.
Okay, wow.
Rollerblading from Dale's house to Daniel's house, I for sure have peed while skating.
Peed while walking. Daniel.
Into the wind.
Daniel. Oh my God.
So,
idiot.
So the some sciencey news here.
Devastating sciencey news.
We're every July we're getting a little hotter. So
and not in a good way.
Don't tell me global warming's fake. What is this? Does this have numbers?
I believe it does. Yes. So July 2019 was the hottest month on record for national or global temperatures. Also nationally, it was also higher. That is for a completely different article.
It looked like this.
That's the next science article that I was going to talk about. But
one ring to rule them all.
That's what I was going to make the joke, actually. But it's all right. But yeah, so July was the hottest record, or hottest month on record right now since we've been taking those tests. So kind of messed up, guys.
So that's not related.
I had a source for it. I just didn't post it in the thing. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say that July 2019, if you thought it was hotter than normal, totally was. I used 100 hours more on my Nest than I did last July.
100 hours more of like air conditioning?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you let yours run constantly?
I let the Nest do the smart programming the best it can, but because it was just hotter outside, it had to run longer to.
When was the last time you had your Freon checked?
We don't use Freon anymore. We have a different thing, but it happens every 3 months. They come out and service our stuff. We pay a subscription.
Really?
Yeah,
that's nice.
They do the heating, air, and then they also have like emergency calls. We get a discount if there's an emergency.
Yeah,
they call them late night.
Safe flight?
Nope.
I know I did. I updated my Freon and my air conditioning bill went down because it didn't have to work as hard.
Yeah,
cold. But I still
we're using some substitute for Freon. I can't remember what it was because we had to get an industrial size AC unit because the one we had was for a single home dwelling, and technically we have 2 homes in our house, so it was working super hard. So we bought a big one, and we're still paying a lot of money for that. Cool. But also in science news, I was going to talk about scientists managed to make the smallest ring of pure carbon. So 18 atoms of carbon together to form an 18-sided gun. I don't remember the name of that, and I'm not even going to try. But
where is the 18 sides?
That's not a really necessarily a good picture of it. That's probably a little better. So it's alternating single and triple bonds of carbon. So that's kind of cool. But it is the smallest circle. But it makes us one step closer to, like carbon nanotubes, graphene sheets, a lot of really
atomic fusion.
It doesn't say anything about fusion in there.
Atomic fusion somewhere. I saw.
Okay. There's so many applications. Like carbon's awesome. It's the basic building block of everything in the universe. Just because it's super easy to connect carbon to other pieces of carbon. Definitely cool sciencey news there. Also in other news, Tesla Solar is relaunching again, rebranding themselves with an option to, in select areas right now, but it's going to be rolling out soon, to rent solar panels from Tesla at zero cost to you, zero contract, for whatever they say your monthly rent of them is. So they're starting at $50 in some areas. They will come out and install the small solar panel, which retails for about $10,000. And you make a monthly payment. You don't have to pay for the installation. There's no long-term contract. Your monthly payment can be canceled at any time. However, if you want to remove the solar panel from your roof, you have to pay $1,500 for Tesla to take it off your roof.
It covers the cost of removing the solar panels and putting your house back to normal.
Yeah.
So it's not a fee that Tesla gains money on or anything, but it is basically paying for the labor to re-seal your house, so to speak.
And God, I know we're talking about this again, but it's another way for Tesla to get people to adopt solar without making people pay the high upfront costs. So Drew and I are both looking for his house or my house. We'd spend approximately $45,000 if we were to put a large solar panel on the roof capable of generating.
So
45,000.
It's So
if we wanted 46 to 58 kilowatt hours per day.
Yes.
That's at the highest.
What in the heck are you spending power on?
I understand. We're not doing that currently. Like the small power one only does 15 to 19 kilowatt hours.
So here's what it is basically you're paying, if you buy it, you're paying $22,000 for the large solar panels. That comes with 6 by 10. Was it 7, 8? 6 by 8 cells. It looks like.
I don't know what they are.
Are you talking about 4,500 or 45,000?
45,000. But that was also, you didn't let us finish there. That was also with a Powerwall 2 having 2 to 3 power walls, and I think 3 power walls put us at the 45,000.
If you have an EV,
why would you need that much?
If you have a 3,000 plus square foot house, we're getting large estimate here.
How much you spend in power a day?
So hold on.
Our home's power bill is about $170 per day at 8 cents per kilowatt.
$170 per day?
Or not per day, per month.
Yeah.
At 8 cents per kilowatt.
So how many kilowatts do you use in a day?
I don't know. I without seeing my bill, I was just saying that would be you could do the math for that, and
because I know that mine's about anywhere from
13, honestly, for me, which
it's anywhere from 20 to 30 or 30 to 40 to 50 possibly kilowatt hours in a day on a bad day.
And that's why, so we're saying on a bad day, we would need the large one because the large one goes up to 58.
No, but
average.
But that's the thing. You don't need that much storage and power. You only need to get through the night.
Well, so that's the other thing too. Tesla is recommending you to be able to have enough to cover 7 days off, like at least for the Powerwall.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Where if things got out of hand.
Yeah, that'd be 45,000. Yeah, just mark it up then.
The reason why I was trying to say at the maximum cost of $45,000, Drew and I, you could have for the maximum amount of cost. That's
of course 100,000. Plug in. Yeah. Go charge at
Here's the thing.
Power thing with your Tesla Model X and drive back and then take the power from the fucking car and charge your house. Yeah, that would be a couple $100,000 too. That might be cheaper.
Hold on, Dale. Here's the thing though. If you get some people for a nice roof, I mean, you're paying $10,000, right, for a nice roof.
Probably
around there for like high end roof for a $3,000 square foot home, right? Or a 3,000 square foot home.
Say if you got a slate roof,
big house,
you're paying $30,000 for a slate roof.
Up here, I would say it's a double that.
Yeah.
So that's a big necessity for your house. Okay.
Yep.
So you pay $45,000 and you never have to pay an electric bill again. Adds the value to your home. You're basically off grid for that electric, right? And
in places where you can sell it back.
And
you're still spending $50 a month on the bill.
No. So we were saying that if you want to buy the largest solar panel you can put on your house and get the power walls to power your house for what they say is up to 7 days,
completely off grid,
you'd spend approximately about $40,000 to do it
for your two homes or just one.
Just one.
For
one home around 1,500 square foot average. Or you can pay $50 a month to have them bring solar panels out, and then you would just have to pay for the power walls separately, some way to contain that.
$15,000 for the 2 power or for 3 power walls.
So it's a smaller entry level, but then at the end of it, you could still, if you chose to, you could nix the subscription, pay for the solar panels, and
in the end, the best bet for you is to
always
buy the solar panels and the power walls. Use them for as long as you can, and then they will pay for themselves. They have
number one. The power walls are lifetime, so definitely buy Tesla. What?
Yep. 10-year warranty on it.
That's not even worth it then.
I'm sure it'll why? I mean, so that $40,000 investment pays off in 9 years, estimated for our electricity cost.
And so here's the thing: at 10 years or at 9 years, you run your car into it and it's warranted. Just kidding. You dump a Coke on it and it's warranted, and then
they'll probably be bolted outside. So
and that was the high end. A small. A 15 kilowatt panel only runs $4,000, $5,000.
What was it? It was
$7,800 or $7,581,
and that's after tax incentive.
And that's for 50,000 or how many kilowatt hours?
That's the small. It's size guide.
It is 15 to 19 kilowatt hours per day. Best suited for a home with an average electric bill of $50 to $60 a month.
Yeah.
So, and that's 2 panels or 2 by 10 or whatever the actual panel size is.
And this is just Nebraska's quote too. We can look at Michigan and stuff like that too as well.
Well, if you can charge your whole home off of solar,
it's the same
during the day and just do solar throughout the day and then use the battery packs for the night, that would be ideal.
Yep. So the problem is to do that, you have to have enough to not only for your usage in the summer, because that's how you have to look at it. How much is your total consumption?
Josh, yes, I got that.
And then also
store
it enough.
Tell me more.
But the listeners don't know this, Dale, and that's why I'm explaining it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense for the first time ever.
I'm saying, hey, $40,000, which is a huge amount of money. But realistically, Tesla has a solution now where you can buy solar panels. You don't have to buy the solar roof, just solar panels. You can rent them for $50, starting at $50. I'm sure a medium panel grid would be a little more expensive than the small, and then the large would be more expensive.
I'll buy my own solar panels. Those are relatively cheap. I want to rent the Tesla Powerwall. Let's do that. Let's rent the Powerwall. That'd be fine with me. $50 a month.
If with renting the power or with renting the solar, what it's doing is it's allowing people to reasonably get solar on their home installed, and then see the benefits of it, and then be like, okay, now it's worth paying for fly.
So for $3,000, you can have solar panels installed and then offset a lot of the cost of the thing without a Powerwall.
Correct.
Just do that. it would save you a lot more money than having the Powerwall. The Powerwall is if you want to run off the grid.
The Powerwalls, yeah, and I mean,
Or
it's
there's
also
something going on.
Charge your car, or you want to use, and it's the difference between having a power bill that is 50% cost and having a power bill that is a credit of 3 months down the line, which is what some people will do. So depending on your power,
if you get more, if you buy more solar panels and then you offset that cost throughout the day, would you credit it back? Then at nighttime you use their power, you can actually get more money. Or you can actually offset that to be almost as a zero balance.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. And that's only in states that allow you to sell power back. Nebraska. So OPPD does not allow you to sell power back to OPPD in Nebraska. So they won't give you any money if you're producing more than you have.
You need to move to Michigan then.
At least.
Drew, move to Michigan.
Yeah. I mean, Michigan has a problem with blackouts. Nebraska doesn't. So
Michigan has a problem with blackouts.
I mean, you guys, DTE was literally like, hey, don't set your thermostats so high because the fire has corrupted our power station. And if we don't stop using so much electricity, no one's going to have electricity.
Yeah, on a very, very hot day, they wanted to turn down the power. I'm sure that happens anywhere.
Didn't happen in Nebraska.
Had a fucking flood.
Granted, we have an overabundance.
I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. I apologize. I apologize. That sounds very insensitive.
But it's one of those things where, I mean, this is going to be an issue that's going to get worse and worse as the cost of electricity keeps going up and up for non-renewable sources.
Yeah.
And the cost of electricity for renewables keeps going down and down. You're going to see this gets easier and easier and easier. If Tesla says, hey, we'll rent them out to you for $50 a month, it's going to get a lot of people to adopt it. And then
I disagree with all that, but we got to move on because we're really long.
All right. Hey, Josh. What's the powerhouse of the cell?
The powerhouse of the cell? You know what? Glucose. No, it's the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
All right.
Okay. Well,
was that my sciencey question? That was an easy sciencey question, guys.
Dale, did you have one?
No, I didn't have one.
Okay. Well, then Josh got a win.
Powerhouse.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us for Sex Nerd Science. I'm Drew.
I'm Dale.
I'm Josh.
Oh, wait. Sorry.
And I'm upset.
I'm Josh.
But first, just before we go, guys, if you want to comment on any of the stuff we talked about here, message us on Facebook. Talk to us on the Project Nerd website.
You know nobody's going to listen to this
podcast
there. Right?
Everyone's going to listen to this podcast.
Nobody.
We've got messages.
No, because I won't post it.
Podcasts we had.
Because I won't post it. That's why no
one's
one's
going to post this podcast.
We still have a better sound editor than some other podcasts out there. So
rude. Please edit that out. Sound editor, yeah.
Nope.
Fine. We're just going to pay him to edit that out. He edits the entire podcast, gets to that point, is like, oh, fuck them.
All right. Bye, guys.
Peace out.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Sexy Nerd Science Season 5.
Make sure to like us and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Don't forget to check out our merch on Teespring and support us on Project Nerd Patreon at patreon.com/projectnerd.